Hello, good afternoon. It's an afternoon here in Sydney, a nice rainy, thunderstormy one, and I'm back in my childhood growing up space with my parents at the moment, and I wanted to just set myself up and record because I haven't recorded something for you in a little while, and I was thinking about giving you a life update, but I'm gonna make this one about choice and what we can do instead of choice. So if you're new to the podcast, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. This is a podcast on a wonderful life. I'm sharing my experiences of life and the reflections I have about my experiences of life and how they have enabled me to access and find a way into my wisdom and experience more ease, more calm, less stress in my life. Let's put it that way. My goal ultimately feels like, as of now, to go toward the things that I want and create the things that I want in a way that is really aligned with who I am and also kind of effortless. So here is where I put my musings on life, if you will, and I hope that it provides some value in your own life as well and finding your own way of having the things that you want in an effortless manner. So today's episode comes from when I was having lunch this afternoon and just reflecting on my time here in Sydney, just reflecting on a recent call I had with my coach and reflecting on how I have changed as a person compared to not so long ago. Maybe that was 3 months ago before I did all the traveling to Japan and Bali and Northern Australia, which, mind you, was only in December, so 4 months ago. How I have been different. One of the things I've been doing with my coach over the past few months of working together is since I have moved to a couple of countries in our time, he's gotten me to reflect on the time I was in Bali, for example, which only ended up being 22 days. But one of the exercises we did together was reflecting on 10 things that I learned about myself from during my time in Bali. And then I thought about doing the same thing for this time in Sydney because in just over a week, I'm going to be heading to the UK for an indefinite amount of time. So reflecting on all of that, I thought about my experience of life from this pause I'm having. Because to be honest with you, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I'm not really sure what my purpose is. I'm not really sure what I'm meant to be working on or want to work on. I just know that I'm a creator and I really like getting better at life. I really like reading things, listening to things, and learning things that help me have a fuller experience of life. In a way, it's kind of getting the bang for my buck. I've got, let's say, 90 days, 90 years here on Earth, and I want to make the most. I want to get the fullest and experience life to the fullest. So I like getting better at life. I have no idea what kind of business I have, but I know that I am savvy and intelligent and driven and ambitious enough to create something that's really successful and that can have a really big impact on the world. I don't know what I'm doing though in this very, very moment in time. And I trust that a lot of people feel this way in their life, whether you're 20 or 30 or 45 or even 60. A lot of my good friends and teachers are 50 years and older, and I love that because it reminds me and tells me to calm the F down. Like, it's okay to feel lost and to feel crappy and to feel unproductive and to feel like I'm not where I thought I was supposed to be at 32 years of age. So one of the things that came to mind as I was reflecting on this is this learning about choice. I think for a good amount of time I was learning self-development, going through these courses, and there was so much emphasis, or there has been, and there is a lot of emphasis about making a choice. When we don't feel good, or we feel depressed, or we feel sad, today's a really good example because it's super depressing weather outside. But again, this lesson or mantra about, well, you have a choice. You can either decide that you're someone that gets affected by the weather, and so you can go and be depressed and spend your day depressed, or you can decide that the weather isn't going to get in your way of being who you are. You are happy and passionate and creative person. Go and create. You've got that choice. When there's food in front of you that is not healthy for you, but you're wanting to get in shape, well, you've got a choice to eat it or not eat it. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as making the decision not to eat. But I just remember and think about how much emphasis there has been on making a choice as to what we think in a moment of time that will determine how we feel about something and therefore take action in a certain way. And what I'm really reflecting on here is how sometimes, even though I know I have that choice, I always know I have a choice, it's not always the course of action, and I say action in quotes, that helps me. And I'm pretty glad I've gotten to a state of awareness with myself to know when a choice just isn't the best course of action for me, because it just doesn't work. Making a choice doesn't work. So what I've been really living into these past few months, as I've come back to Sydney a number of times and had a different experience of what home is, I just stopped pressuring myself to make a choice, telling myself to make a choice, because it isn't always about the choice. I realize that there is something above the choice, and that is the beingness, because we don't have to make a choice. That's an action or doing way of life. Above that, there's just this being human, just being with however it feels like for you, and not expecting that a choice has to be made. And that's what I'm kind of just resting in. There's like 9 days until I go to the UK, and if things kind of feel plain, to be honest with you, at the moment, I'm not really doing anything with my life, and I'm just being here. And I reflected that 6 months ago, me would have thought to herself, okay, I've got a choice. I can either be creative with this time, or I can just be sad and sulky for the next 9 days. But the me now is like, hey, I'm going to honor who I am. I'm going to honor this transformation, this breakthrough I'm having, this being with the emotion of stillness, the being patient, to see what comes on the other side of not feeling so productive, not feeling so creative, because there is always another side. So what I wanted to encourage is that there is something above the choice when it feels like a choice is the only thing that you have in your life, or in a time of your life that you have to make a choice. You don't. There's a time and place where choices really serve us. And there's also a time and moments in a life where we have an opportunity to honor the human being that we are. And that is, instead of the choice, we can just honor the moment that we're in. Wherever you are in the world, I hope to be company for your ears. I think we're in this journey of life to experience more of what we get the opportunity to experience. And, I'm starting over. That there's no better time to be starting over, to be honest. Like, I started a new Instagram account as well, which, if you're on my email list, I will eventually send out a way to find me. But it's exciting at the same time as it is feeling plain. And that's really okay. It's really okay. Have a wonderful day and evening, and I'll speak to you very soon.